Coming live. I've had a shave. Had a cold shower and a shave. Oh, thank God it's cooling down a bit. 40 degrees of hell today. Unprecedented times. Right, a bit cooler now. So I'm once again tackling the Airbnb clone and React learning on Scrimba. Project 21, mapping experiences data into components. This is where it's going to start getting interesting, because we're taking dynamic data and injecting it into components via props. So this kind of might be the stage where I finally get why I use React. So it should be interesting. Now, I have been through this lesson today a couple of times because it was a bit of a head scratcher. So I have done it before, and I'll show you the different approach that I took just to kind of get my head around how a callback function works when mapping an array from one into a new one. So I'll show you what I've done there anyway. It's a slight deviation from what Bob does. Right, let's give you my screen. Should have done this before, really. That's the one. There we go. Move that there. Move that there. Oh, one more innovation I forgot about. I did use this in a previous stream. Got a bit of background music. As I said, when I'm just sat here coding, it tends to be a bit tedious, so I'll play that whenever Bob isn't talking. Oops. Right, Melon, you're telling me I can use background audio, but I can't turn the fucking thing down? You're having a laugh. There is a volume slide on it. This doesn't work. Bag of shite. Let's try another one. Share. Not that. Oh, completely lost the option. And there is it. No. Add cam. No. Share. Share. There we go. Background audio. See what this one's like. Right, you can turn it up and down now, but not when it plays. Irreducible, this one's called. Yeah, this one's better. Bit more upbeat. Bit more up tempo. Right, enough of this dicking around. Should get going. I don't actually need that player while I'm listening to Bob. Right.
Down to put all the things that we just learned together to progress our section project here with the Airbnb Experiences clone. I've written out your task here, and let me walk you through just a couple things. First of all, there's now a data.js file, and this contains an array of the objects that represent the data that we're going to be displaying on the screen. Part of your task is to import that data as it mentions, map over it to create our card components, kind of like we have hard-coded here, and then render that array in place of this card component. One little change that I did make is I changed the country prop to location, and I also made that change in the data here. So in case you were curious about why that's changed, I just decided it made more sense since we might have some online experiences. And another thing is you'll notice there are some properties here that we won't yet be using, like open spots or description. That's okay. For now, just ignore those. We'll decide later if we want to make use of them. Also, as I mentioned in the note here, because we haven't done styling to our group of components or anything like that yet, they're going to stack on top of each other because they're block element divs. For now, that's okay. Don't worry about them being stacked vertically. We'll fix that later. Okay, now is the time. I know that you can do it. You've worked hard up until this point. Hopefully you have studied and rewatched everything you needed to in order to understand what we're doing. So let's jump right in, pause the screencast, and work on the challenge.
Oh, pep talk from Bob there. It's got me fired up. I know you can do this. Right, music on. you even hear that. There we go. Wonder if that's going to loop. Anyway, I've got a live viewer. I think it's the first time ever. Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot this is live. This is live on my YouTube channel. And on Twitch. Hello, one viewer. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you're here. I'll put it on the screen. Never actually had a comment yet. Right, first bit. Import the array of data from data.js. Right, so data.js. Now, I did uncover something interesting when I was messing around with this earlier. Let's get back to app.js. Right, so we need to import that data. So let's go import. I think this was the gotcha. Let's just do it to start with, as Bob always tells us to, but note that the file name is actually data.js, and I think this failed when I was doing it. Right, okay. Data should be the data imported, you'd think. We've now got this array called data. Let's see if this works. I'll this the console. Oh, that's worked, yeah. I think what I was doing first time I did this failed. Yeah. Case matters there, doesn't it? Not so much here from memory. Wrong. Caps, right, so we've got this variable here. Not variable. I think it's an array, isn't it? Let's get the console up. Yeah. So we've got pulled in the data file. Import the data from array of data. Let's get rid of that. You can go right next. Map over the array to create card components. Right. So we've got our array there, data. And we need to create card components within the array mapping that we're going to create. Right, so this annoys me, this. The fact that all this crap's above it. Let's put it below. Not improve, Bob. No, sorry for calling you work crap. Instructions. Instructions. Take my chewing gum out. Very rude of me. Helps me concentrate though. Okay. Let's get rid of the console. Let's make this a bit bigger so people can see it. I don't know why he's put there. I can go as well. More distractions. Right. So, our data in the form of that array, which is an array of objects. So first thing we want to do then is create a new array we're going to map that data into. So let's call it card data. Within card data, we're taking in data mapping. Right, now this is what I did. Just what I'm going to do at first. Right, so this map method, callback function as an argument. And by that, I don't mean a disagreement. I mean, you write a function in there. And this then cycles. The function is called on one set of the data, pass it in, and then it calls it on another set of data, blah, blah. I think we covered this on the last one, but I found it, rather than doing everything, right, doing writing the callback function in there and the operations of the instruction, the function, I found it a bit confusing. So what I did, wrote my function separately. We call function. In that function, I'm going to call it card. In there, we're going to return what are we going to return? We're going to return card, aren't we? And then, right, so what this is doing, now we're going to call this function from within here. And that's going to stuff, it's going to iterate around every one piece of these data. We're going to iterate around that, and that. And it's going to stuff it into our new array called card data, I hope. Right, so let's call this. Call that function in there. Argument called card. I effed up here, I think I have, haven't I? That's the actual object, okay. Have I confused myself? I think I have, haven't I? Let's do it the original way then, right. So we've got an anonymous function. Takes in one parameter. We go card, arrow function. You understand this? I'm just trying to be. Just going to return. Balls this up. What have I done wrong? He's doing his data mapping there, isn't he? I have. What have I done wrong? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? What's he called it? Item. Yeah, so card. Just return these to start with. So it needs to be like that. That's what I've done. I've forgotten the brackets on the return. Schoolboy error. What have I screwed up there then? What have I not done? I'm an idiot. Got to put the curly braces on it. 2 live viewers. My record. Streaming record. Why is it moaning about that? Shouldn't be. Need to go into JSX land. Why are you complaining? Function. Oh, hang on. I closed that off. I have. Let's start again. Jesus. Worst instructional video ever. Basically, don't do what I'm doing here. Because it's shit. I shouldn't stream it like I'm tired. Hot and tired. Get that fucking woman out of the way. That's the function body, isn't it, there? Which I've not done. All that out of the way is confusing me. This is when I altered it in a function before. I can't believe I've... What all that return then? Card data. Break it down one by one. Not doing this live. I'm under pressure. Don't like it. That doesn't have access to the actual error object. Right, so I'm guessing this needs something in there. That's why it doesn't like that. It's done like this actually. All that function is just written in there. Definitely right. Just take in item. Going out. It's mapping. Just let me quickly. I hate MDM docs. They're really badly written. W3 schools is always better. Map creates a new array from corner function for every array element. Right, let's call it element. Every element in the array. So that's giving us access to every element in the array. Right. So say element dot title. Right, let's break this down. So new array. Mapping into that data. This is saying go through each element in the array. That's saying get the title. So it's going to give us that one. It's going to give us that one. And it's going to give us that one, I think. So this is going to give us a new array just with 3 titles in. Console log card data. Undefined. Why is it undefined? It's not returning. That'd be it. Yes, it's not been returned. Finally, some progress. It's annoying because I had this nailed this afternoon. Right. Now, if that just returns the element, that should give us a direct copy. Yeah, it's giving us a direct copy. That should have all of them in. Yeah, right. Okay, we're making progress. Finally. Should we try turning this into an arrow function then? So you don't need function keyword. You don't need brackets if there's only one argument. Essentially work. I do remember reading, what did Bob say? You can do this. You don't even need the return keyword. You do. You do. Oh, leave that half an hour then. Do you even need them? Yeah. Right. So we've finally got the data has been mapped into our new array card data, so we can do what we want with this now, can't we? So next up, instead of just returning an element, we want to return this. But then put the dynamic values in there, I think. So let's put this in here. Sure. A new line. What will this return then? I think I'll just return this. Yeah. That doesn't look right to me there. I want to do that. Indent. It was an error. Defined. Right, yeah, I think that's okay. So replace that with element image. And we need to go JavaScript land, don't we? JSX land. What that's saying is go to the first element in there, which is that one, and then pull out the. Oh, it's cover image, isn't it? What's that? We need cover image. Undefined. What do you mean? Don't want that in there, do we? Yeah, that's good. Shouldn't put anything because I haven't called it there, have I? Let's fill all these in then. Let's copy that there. Get rid of that. Fix all these errors in a minute. Right, so I'm guessing that's rating. That's nested. How's that going to work then? Stats. I'm streaming, Harvey. Cereal or bread or something. It's thrown me that. No. Why did you have to do this nested stuff? It complicates it. Bob has thrown me there with this nesting bollocks. Harvey was asking for a snack. This music's sending me to sleep. I'm guessing that's tile. Oh, that's pretty good. Right, I think that's done. Check there's no errors. What do I need to do now then? Call card data. Guess so. Right, let's work it out what it's doing then. So calling card data. that. That's bin round each element in the data array. Put it into an array called card data, an array of objects. Every time it's gone round, it's gone right. Give me that cover image. Bollocks. Be in why is it undefined? And I'm gonna have to watch Bob. Sign that off.
Oftentimes you're consuming data that someone else has. All right, let's do this. First, I need to import my data, and I probably will just stick with the word data as my variable name here. So we'll say import data from /data. And maybe just before I get too far down the road, I'll console log this just to make sure that I'm getting the data I think I'm getting. Okay, yeah, that looks right. Again, as a quick reminder, usually you won't be importing a hard-coded data file. We'll be covering API calls and how to get data from an online source later. But until we learn a couple more things, we're not going to be able to do anything really except for importing our data. Then down in our component, I don't want to erase this comment because that's my whole hero section that we commented out for space sake before. Let's take our data and, I don't know, maybe call them cards. We'll say cards is equal to data.map, and we'll let map look over each of those experiences. Maybe I'll just call it item for now. And then for each item in that array, I want to return, well, let me just copy this here because it's got all the properties that I want. And then instead of having these hard-coded values, I will just replace them with the values from our object. So let me just make sure that I get all these properties right. We have, this is called cover image, not image. So I guess some of these might change. So that's cover image. Again, this is another instance where the data had a different property than what we chose to call our prop that we're passing into our component. That's entirely okay, and actually ends up being pretty common, especially if you're not thrilled with the way that the data was designed. Oftentimes you're consuming data that someone else has put in their database and you don't get to choose these property names. Okay, our rating. Let's look at our data. Now we have this stats property, and that's where our rating is. So we're going to have item.stats.rating, and similarly with review count, item.stats.review count. So here, item.stats.rating and item.stats.review count. Okay, in the data we have location, that's going to stay the same. So location will just be location, item.location. Title, I believe, was item.title. And this, I believe, was item.price. Let's just double check those. I like to double check them because otherwise I might see missing data and then get really confused about why it's not working. Title, price, title, and price. Okay, now that we have created our array of card components, we need to render it. So let's get rid of our hard-coded card. I'll put curly braces because I need to enter into JavaScript here. My array of JSX elements is still considered JavaScript, so I'm going to put that in curly brackets, say cards, hit save, and look at that. We're getting all of our...
Why didn't mine work? exactly the same. It's getting really big. What's that do? What the hell? Is that mine? Has mine just come to life? It has, it's worked. Right, I've done it. When in doubt, press random buttons. This refresh thing wasn't refreshing, was it? Thought mine was right. Right, 5 to 12. Jaded. And hang on, that says. That's why it's worked. That's why this has worked. There's mine. There's my bag of shit. Right, in my case. No, no. Why is it empty? Element. That. Too tired now. Do it again.
Of our experiences showing up, of course, again, they're vertically stacked. Each one has its own unique data being displayed, and awesome. At this point, we have covered a bulk of
Why the fuck? This is all lowercase, isn't it? Stupid as that, is it? What does all that bollocks mean? What have I done wrong? Right, I'm turning the stream off. It's dog shit, this, isn't it? Let's finish the end of the video. Let's call it a day.
Of the material from this section that I wanted to cover. And don't get me wrong, we've covered a lot of things so far. There's a lot here to practice with. And as always, if you're not feeling comfortable yet with some of this material, it's important to stick with it, practice it over and over until you understand it. That being said, we do have a couple more things that I want to cover before we finish off this section. First of all, we need to style this, so we'll do that in the next screencast. And then I want to give you a sneak peek into some of the topics we'll be talking about in the next section. So when you're ready, let's polish off our project here with some CSS.
Let's not. I don't know what was happening there. You kind of getting a bit of a flow, and then you get kicked in the bollocks. And I think when that happens, the best thing to do is just walk away from it, take a breather, and come back. It's probably something really glaringly obvious. I find the more you stare at the screen and get angry, the more the problem compounds. Right, that was Project 21, map experience into components. I'm tired, and I will see you on the next stream.